Hey everyone, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen, and welcome to this short intermission episode of Queen's Court. This is to fill in the blank spot that takes place between this mission and the next mission, the month gap between the two. So, I'll let Victor take it over from here.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Vicky the GM, and welcome, as Alexis already said, to this short series of short stories in the Queen's Court verse. It has been 2 weeks since the Thaurian Incident. Rosalina Lockwood and Inquisitor Hunt found themselves in the observation blister of the Oath Unspoken as the ship wakes its way to the system's Mandeville point. You did well, Acolyte Lockwood. I trust that the cleanup duty was not too much.
No, it was fine. Luckily we had a few servitors to help.
Indeed, the Lord Captain was gracious enough to offer some assistance, though it was limited by my intent.
Can't have them finding out too much.
No, we cannot. And I must say, he looked rather too eager to assist.
Yes. We had to make a deal with him.
Indeed, and so did I, though I had somewhat more choice than you did. However, I will thank you for bringing this man to my attention. He may be useful.
I figured a rogue trader and someone in your position would get along just fine.
Remains to be seen. Tell me, Lockwood, do you trust that man?
I trust no one.
Good. Keep it that way. You'll live longer.
It would seem Polonia has taken special interest in him.
Has she?
Maybe even a physical relationship, though I have yet to confirm this.
Is this a manipulation, by any chance?
I don't believe so. I believe her feelings are genuine, though she has confirmed that they won't interfere with current missions.
Use this. It may be able to gain some information that the rogue trader wishes not to unveil under normal circumstances. Speak with Polonia on a regular basis. Find out what she knows.
I will. Now, I have the full report in detail on my data slab. I'm assuming you've already gone over it, is this correct?
I have, in detail, though I wish to hear it in your words.
I never expected a group of heretics, militiamen, to be able to travel between worlds or even do a summoning.
The ways of the enemy are manifold, Acolyte Lockwood, and thus our ways must be creative in order to stop them.
They left a messy trail into Solium. It was easy to pick it up and track them.
Indeed, it is usually the purview of the Inquisition to run into the messy bits of operations, trace them to the source, and eradicate them.
And we did.
Which is good. And, I will add, not under my direct supervision.
Inquisitor.
Yes?
I'm sure it's obvious to you at this point, but unbeknownst to me, I am a witch mind. A psyker.
Yes, and I am indeed aware of this.
These abilities did help quite a bit, though it was a bit of a blow to myself to learn of these things.
Worry not. Acolyte Lockwood. I'm not going to haul you off to the Black Ships. In fact, I will make a shortcut for you and Dr. Polonia.
So she is one. I had a feeling, though I had no idea how to confirm it.
No, there are certain key aspects that one can look for. It is a look, if you will, in the eyes of a person. You can tell whether their mind has been opened by the ways of the warp. They don't look at the world the same way they ever did. I myself am no witch mind, but I have been able to pick up on subtle cues here and there. For instance, have you noticed any new nervous tics ever since your powers manifested?
Unfortunately, yes.
Indeed. Some minor psychosomatic issues may occur, a symptom of the mind, you see. Though your skin color seems to have waned somewhat.
Yes, I am a bit more pale than I used to be.
Yes, and you weren't exactly the tanned garden rose of a sunlit desert world to begin with.
That is very true. Born in the hive cities, we're all pretty pale, so on top of that, it'd make me stand out a little bit more.
So, continue the report.
We tracked him to the Solium Wastes. Luckily, the sororitas lent me a repressor. I can't help but feel that you had something to do with that.
Mayhaps, but an Inquisitor never reveals his secrets.
I think that's the closest thing I've ever seen to a smile from you.
And the closest thing you will ever see to a confirmation.
But after securing the repressor, we traveled to the waste. We found a tradesable base, heavily guarded. Tobian, rest his soul, decided to go in ahead with Harold. Unfortunately, he was gunned down during this incident. But, my lord...
How did he die?
Gunned down by heavy stubber fire. He mutated, my lord. But I can't help but feel that he was some form of saint. He was gifted wings, which he used quite often.
It is not unusual for the Ministorum to declare sainthood, though I have a feeling you didn't take him straight away to the Templum Sacramentum.
No, I had to confirm a few things on my own. Truth be told, I almost put a bolt round in his head.
Indeed, and your future judgment will lie heavily upon factors such as these.
I tested his merit, and I did not find him wanting. He had a look in his eye, my lord. One of determination, strength.
Keep going.
When I found him in his, in the Lockwood Manor, the one that we secured, that is, he covered himself in devotional iconography and was going to martyr himself when he got his mutations. He tried to hide his mutations from me, but they were too obvious. When I confronted him, he was praying with me, the same prayers that I say every single morning, the same ones I use to ward off demons. If he didn't die that day, we might all have. I believe he gave his life to save all of ours.
Then he now stands at the Emperor's side.
He flies amongst his angels.
Indeed. And considering his power, the Angel of Death status sounds quite fitting.
After taking this base, we found several more clues to go down, and eventually track them to Spaceport. We followed them aboard the Earth Unspoken, found out that they were nestled pretty deep in the ship. They tried to run a coup, but thanks to us, we prevented that.
Indeed, and quite the graphic descriptions from Harold, considering his non-poetic mind.
That man still scares me, my lord.
Indeed he does. It's why he's one of my acolytes.
I swear that man can arm wrestle an angel. But I digress. After finding out that they were going to Thaur, we took an advanced shuttle down. Unfortunately, we were detained. A few well-placed lies got us out of that, but...
Which have now been unraveled by yours truly, though I did speak with Lord of the Wake, and he will now be under exquisite scrutiny from myself and others. If he missteps in the coming years, we will be waiting to catch him.
Things were going swimmingly, but Kirshan screwed. Well, Kirshan murdered a person pretty much in front of him. Using my witch mind, I was able to pull out the information from the man. And it led us to the ritual. We unfortunately arrived a little bit too late, and the demon had been summoned.
If anything, you arrived just at the right time. Had you not done, I would have been too late, and would not have been able to do this.
During the engagement with the demon, unfortunately, Kirshan rushed ahead. He was so arrogant. Rushed ahead, and the demon's gaze burned him alive. He was in critical condition.
He still is, though, again, Polonia's skill and determination have once again saved lives, and he will no doubt recover fully once the ship's Medicae have finished with him.
Now, as I said, my lord, I don't trust anybody. I do rely on the tools that you have given us. Polonia is an excellent shot, and every time I rush ahead, I can always count on her covering me. I ran ahead to try to save Kirshan, though my Medicae skills are laughable at best.
Non-existent at worst.
I know enough to cauterize a wound. Put a tourniquet on, but more advanced stuff? No. I guarded Kirshan until I found an opening, though the blasted thing. It is a gift from the Emperor, and that is how I will view it.
Indeed, though there are members among my organization that would not look kindly upon you in your current state, or the one you will become. I am scheduling an tutelage for you and Dr. Polonia at the void station known as the Emperor's Song. You will travel there in a few months' time, and your powers will be stunted, made safe, sanctioned.
Yes, my lord. But, using my mind, I was able to track the item that was binding the demon to the material realm. I was unfortunately very injured at the time, and I took the risk of... I almost sacrificed myself to get rid of the demon.
And that was where I showed up. And for your determination and sacrifice, I am hereby giving you the title of Interrogator.
My lord, I am honored.
The Warband look up to you in one way or another. Though all not may agree with you, they will follow you, as you have shown. Not even the greatest champion of the Chaos Gods will even bow you down.
My lord, this is an honor, and I will not fail you.
Please, you can call me Hunt now. You're one of the Ordos. Though, a small request. Don't, use my name in such a casual way in front of the others.
Very well, Hunt.
As you wish. So, there is a few other matters I wish to discuss. I have spoken with the Lord Captain Aristide, and he and I have come to an agreement. He is now under my service, and I will use him to lend you and your warband, for they are now yours, a transport across the Ascalon sector, should you need it. He will take you under my contract, and he will be paid duly for his service to the Emperor.
Very well. A ship of this size wouldn't attract too much attention. It looks like an average cargo ship.
Indeed. And you are to integrate into the crew as members of this ship, which will doubly serve as a nice cover story, should you ever need it.
Yes, my lord.
There was one stipulation, however.
And that is?
The only thing that the Lord Captain required from my point of view was that the activities that he makes now be monitored. No previous activity be brought to my attention.
Very well. Hunt, I have one more thing for you.
Yes?
My report on each of the acolytes.
Report it.
Okay, I'll start down the list. We have Dr. Polonia. Polonia has proven to be an excellent shot, as well as a very, very fine medic. I have nothing to complain about her, although her will seems to be shaken a little bit, and something seems to be off.
Yes. Her witch mind, as I've already stated.
No, not that.
Something else?
Call it a hunch. But her involvement with the rogue trader is interesting. I will keep an eye on it, but I think she's trying to secure herself a future.
Keep close attention. Inform me of any changes.
Yes. Baldavarius Tarvok. Arrogant, witty, and... how else to describe him? Eccentric? Yeah, that's a good word for it. Boldavarius Tarvok is showing his age. He's going to need some more operations to replace some of his internal organs. His body is not long for this world unless he gets these surgeries.
And I have no doubt he will.
Polonia seems to be the one handling it, so I know they'll go swimmingly. He seems to have multiple arms, although I'm not sure if this is mutation, simply the culture of the tech priest.
I myself am not versed in the secrets of the cult mechanicus. The eccentricity and strangeness of tech priests is something better left to them.
But nevertheless, I will keep a close eye on him. He's proven to be quite the companion, effective at long-range combat as well as surprisingly good at communications with commoners, especially for one of a tech priest.
He handles numbers. Those are his domain.
Now, moving on, we have Harold Blackbeard. My lord.
Yes?
Were you aware that Harold didn't even know the basics of communication in Low Gothic?
Was it necessary?
Well, simple communication and following of orders, but eventually I did sit down and train him a little bit more in it.
Indeed, though I think he will find less use for it, as hurling insult at one enemy does not produce the same outcome as a last gun.
Yes. His expertise in combat has saved us multiple times, though his berserk nature tends to put us in danger quite often. When he goes into his fits of rage, he cannot tell friend from enemy, and we have thought about shooting him before if he draws near to us. He did happen to go after Heresy in one incident. Luckily, we stopped it. I was wondering, my lord, if you would sanction the use of a type of tranquilization collar that I can put on him.
No.
No, my lord?
I would not have him mistreated as such.
Very well.
There is a complication. I assume that Tarvok has informed the rest of the Warband of...
What lies within him?
Indeed.
I've seen it.
Yes, and I will take great pains to remove said abomination from his flesh.
Very well, my lord.
You are not to attend. It is for me, Tarvok, and Harold.
Yes, my lord. Harold did agree to teach me the basics of his style of close combat. I am well versed in dueling, but handling large crowds seems to be a bit difficult for me. That is Harold's specialty. With your permission, I would like to set up a sparring match with him aboard your ship.
Of course. Do not, try not to break anything.
Very well, my lord. Now, moving on, we have Tobian, and I've given you my full report on him.
Indeed. I believe you still hold his remains?
Yes. His ring shall be returned to his planet of origin, but his remains shall remain within my museum.
Indeed.
Krishan, the other Inquisitor's man.
That would be one Severin Noctine.
Is he of Ordo Malleus?
Yes, how did you know?
I may have gone into Krishan's mind.
Find anything interesting?
Aside from his lack of secrets, and the fact that he thinks with the base of his surface thoughts, no. Simplicity and arrogance are how I would describe him. He doesn't work well with others, but he is a crack shot. I can see why his Inquisitor chose him. He is good for solo missions, but I could not find a use for him, and his disrespect was a nuisance.
As an infiltrator, he works very well. In fact, he happened upon the same investigation into the Xenos artifacts that you were investigating. This is how Severin Noctine and I joined forces and agreed to share intelligence and manpower. Krishan was the liaison, so to speak.
Well, let's hope that Inquisitor's acolytes aren't all like him. Otherwise, incompetence would be his greatest weakness.
No, they are a varied bunch, I can tell you that.
Maybe one day we'll meet them.
No doubt.
But in the thick of things, Krishan was reliable. And once he was humbled, he proved to be very effective.
Was there anything else you wished to tell me?
The report on myself. Now, as you know, I cannot do that.
No.
Because it would be unjust. So I left that to Boltavarius Tarvok.
And I am sure he will spare no detail.
He never does.
Now, with your leave, Interrogator Lockwood, I would like to return to my chambers for meditation.
Yes, and I too for prayers.
Have a good evening cycle.
You as well, my lord.
It has been 2 weeks since the Thaurian Incident. Dr. Colonia is summoned by Lord Captain Heresy to the observation booster on the port side of the Oath Unspoken. The stars shine like pinpricks of light as the ship makes its way to the translation point. Ah, Talia, so good you could join me.
It's nice to see you again. It was nice on Tower to see some trees, but other than that, it was a very morbid area.
Indeed, I hope my warning was fair enough.
I didn't understand it until I got down there, but it gave me a little bit of preparation.
Yeah, it's hard to put into words, so to speak.
The chapels filled with skeletons were a little much.
Yes, I can see why you can see now why the place was a bit much for me after all these years.
But aren't you into all of the ecclesiarchal business as well? You seem to be quite pious.
Well, yes, but I do so in my own way, and what they do on Tower is a touch too far, in my taste.
I'm glad you agree. I wish I could say the same for my companions. They made me feel like I was the one who was wrong to consider it morbid.
It happens. But I did summon you here for a reason.
Oh, what is that?
Well, I I wish to talk to you. There was, how do I put it? I enjoy your company, so to speak, and it is nice to have someone that doesn't lap onto every word and say, oh yes, Lord Captain, no, Lord Captain, oh, was there anything else, Lord Captain, and so on and so forth.
Is that what you're generally used to, then?
I've been on the ship for way too many years, and my guests happen to either be sycophants or yes-men, so it does tend to get tedious.
I could see that. I've come to like your company as well, Aristide. You're not as zealous, and you seem more level-headed than the other company I've kept as of late.
Thank you, Thalia. You don't mind me calling you Thalia, do you?
Unless you mind me calling you Aristide.
I suppose I don't.
Well, like you said, I bet you're sick of people calling you Lord Captain.
It has its charm, but charm can wear thin. But yes, there was, I did want you to look at this, and he motions his hand out toward the stars outside of the observation blister.
Take a look.
Tell me, what do you see?
I see an expanse of stars. Each one probably has worlds about it. It's a beacon of lights amongst the abyss and the void.
I see something different.
What do you see?
Possibilities, opportunity, endless opportunity to be precise.
You're definitely ambitious. Which makes me wonder why you confined yourself to just this transport route between Thaur and Basilium.
There is an outside motivation that rules my judgment. You could say that I am simply using what opportunity is at hand. When the pandemonium waxes, one must look to the inside borders of the Imperium for his opportunity, and I chose mine here.
You seem like you're good at finding opportunity. You seem like you're good at making a success out of any situation as well.
Well, that is what makes a rogue trader. The ability to see talent, opportunity everywhere, and the ruthless efficiency to exploit said opportunities. Yeah, a small grin comes across Aristide's face and disappears about as quickly.
I'll smile before saying that. I've been in the fleets before, I've told you that. I'm no stranger to such ideals. If anything, it's appealing. You're out to make something of what you have. Whereas my company seems only intent on serving.
As is, of course, their duty and right.
You're not wrong.
Speaking of opportunities and exploiting them, you'll have to forgive me in advance, Thalia, but I did call you here for more than just stargazing.
Well, what were you hoping for?
Well, you did mention that you were from Forelys, yes?
Yes. It's far prettier than any other world I've ever seen.
I can believe that. However, there's a small issue with reflecting that statement. I have never seen Forelys.
Oh.
Which brings me to my point. I would love to collect on my favor and ask you politely if you could tell me where Foralis is.
Well, I would like to see home again. I just worry about how Maximilian would react, Captain Vor.
He would no doubt be a touched annoyed by the fact that his secret garden world would be so easily found by an intruder, which I would pay a hefty amount to see that look on his face. And Aristide grins again, this time not relenting.
What are your intentions when you get there?
Oh, it's a bit of an old grudge. Lord Captain Maximilian, let's pay him his due, he rubbed it in my face once that I had never beheld such beauty as Foralis.
Well, if that's all, I don't see what harm there could be in it, and I would love to show it to you. It's definitely prettier than any other planet in the wider Imperium that I've seen.
Then it is merely a matter of convincing your direct superior, no?
You mean Rosalina?
I do mean Interrogator Lockwood.
Oh, I don't know. She might be receptive to the idea. I brought it up to her, thought I would like to have her introduced to my family. She has some interesting preconceptions about me.
Ask her again. See if she is more susceptible to it now that she has a grand transportation across the sector.
It's true. I'll run the idea by her. And then I suppose if she consents to it, I can tell you the location.
That would be most wonderful. Now, if you'd kindly walk and talk with me to the bridge.
Of course. I'd love to be in your company, Captain.
Why, thank you, Thalia. Now, please dispense with the captain. I don't need it from you as well.
Of course. My apologies, Aristide.
Thank you. Aristide and Polonia begin to make their way towards the front of the ship where the bridge is located. There was something else. Something that Morino told me about.
Oh?
Yes, it turns out Interrogator Lockwood is not quite as xenophobic as most inquisitors I have dealt with are.
Oh, you mean how she went and talked with Morino and sought her out?
She did, and she did not immediately nail her to the hulls of my ship.
I suppose that's better than most inquisitors, but well, we are working with the Ordo Hereticus, not the Ordo Xenos.
I suppose that is a blessing. But I suppose that, being inside of Imperial space, I am less than all-powerful. Polonia is well aware of this, seeing that her own rogue trader has had dealings with the Inquisition before.
They tend to not give you too much trouble, though.
That depends if they are willing to look past any outside discretions.
It's generally hard to bribe the Inquisition.
Oh, yes. It is usually easier to make a deal with them, which I'd like to think that Hunt's deal was adequate enough.
I'm still not sure what your part of that deal is.
Well,
You ferry us around around the sector, and what do you get out of it?
Well, aside from the payment from the Ordos, which is hefty, no doubt, I will have open access to more planet than my little trade route between Thaur and Desolium. And, of course, I will be serving an authority closer to the Emperor than the Ecclesiarchy.
So you would no longer have to worry about appearing pious.
Well, of course I'd have to keep appearances up, but it is a higher calling, wouldn't you say?
Well, that's why I'm a part of it, so I can't disagree with you there. Despite my better judgment, I really never thought I'd end up in this line of work. I never thought I'd end up going around carrying a weapon. I started off my medical career hoping to save lives.
Have you not saved lives?
I guess I've saved everyone on my team's life multiple times, too many times for me to count even at this point.
And every single man, woman, and child aboard my ship added to that. And though I don't know what happened on Thaur, I get the feeling that your saved lives have skyrocketed.
You're not wrong.
So?
I guess it's reassuring when you put it that way. Thank you.
Indeed. Polonia and Aristide arrive on the bridge. The hustle and bustle of normal bridge crew is kept to a low as the helmsman announces the Lord Captain's arrival on the ship with many salutes and bows from the rest of the crew. Servitors, of course, pay you to no heed as they continue their automated function. Could you join me at the captain's at the command throne, Fallow?
It'd be an honor, of course.
Now, as the two of them reach the command throne, Aristide gestures towards the command throne and says, "Please, have a seat."
I will take a seat next to the captain.
No, not next to him. In the actual command throne.
Okay, I will sit in the actual command throne.
For there is no actual seat next to it.
Fair enough, you're right.
Yeah.
I will sit in the command throne.
So, Thalia, tell me, with what I just told you about the endless possibility of the stars, how does it feel to have the power at your fingertips to exploit that possibility? You right now, within touch of your finger, is the ability to level cities and turn stars to ash.
It's hard to conceptualize. And I'll blink and start staring at the multiple command diases and buttons and whatnot, and it's a lot of possibility, like you said. It's a lot more than I ever thought I would be in control of.
And with that comes the control needed to rein said boundless ambition into check. For if there is no line you are not willing to cross, then you truly are just fuel for the pyres of the Inquisition.
I suppose that's true.
This is my struggle, Polonia, and I wanted to share that with you.
I think I understand.
I think you do. Now, there are many things that I must do. The translation point is almost upon us, and the captain must always sit the bridge.
Of course.
If you wish to join the rest of your acolytes, then please don't let me stop you.
Well, I'd like to see you again before I arrive on Solium, if that's alright with you.
Oh, I have no doubt that we will share many more dinners before we reach the Solium.
Well, I suppose I should let you take this seat and drop us to that drop us out at that translation point.
It's been wonderful talking to you, Bologna. Thalia.
And you, Aristide. You're much more pleasant than the company I've been forced to keep lately.
Until next time.
Of course. And I will stand up and go to leave.
It has been 2 weeks since the Thaurian Incident. Harold has been taken to a specially prepared chamber in the bowels of the Oath Unspoken, where the abomination that buried itself in his flesh will be cast out. Hunt steps through the doors to find Harold chained to the floor with warded chains and Tarvok finishing the last rites of consecration. Candles light the room, with the smell of sacred incense permeating the air. Harold, I do hope that you are ready for this.
Yes.
Try not to struggle too much. The chains have been specially warded not to break.
Yeah, I tried that already.
Yes. Tarvok, have the last rites been exercised?
They have.
Indeed. We can begin. Hunt moves to stand before Harold, Tarvok chanting lowly in the background. Demon of the Immaterium, I summon thee forth. In the Emperor's name, show yourself.
No.
By the grace of the Golden Throne, and in the name of the Holy Ordos and the Inquisition, I order thee to show thyself.
No.
Tarvok. Wait, crap, he muted himself. Ah! Damn it. I'll have to cut this bit out. I'll just edit it.
Yeah.
Crap, this wasn't supposed to how it was supposed to go. What would bring this demon out? Just remember, I'll cut it at any point as soon as we start up again.
Yeah.
Any suggestion? I'm kind of stumped here. I was kind of hoping this would go smoother.
I mean, cut Harold's chest, something, draw blood.
Fair enough. Ah, right. Oh, I know what I can do. Okay, Hunt pulls out a small knife and pricks the palm of his chest, allowing a single drop of blood to drip slowly onto the deck before Harold.
Harold's body begins to twitch, and the demon manifests itself.
Harold's skin turns red, and claws start growing out of his hands as he starts to wrestle against the chains, but their holy wards are power enough against the demon to cause it to lose some of its power. Ah, there you are, demon. Now
I will rend the flesh from your bones.
hold on. I'm gonna have to cut this again. God damn it. There is a specific thing. In fealty to the God Emperor, our undying Lord, and by the grace of the Golden Throne, I hereby cast thee out, demon. May imperial justice accord in all balance. The Emperor protects.
I am in your corpse, Emperor. He can't save you.
All demons are lies. You are nothing more. Harold is stronger than you are, and he will cast you out.
You will think so.
Harold, I know you're in there. I'm doing all I can to cast the demon out, but I need you to shove it.
Seems that the big guy is sleeping.
Harold, you have yet to find who killed Hillary. Will you let this demon taint your body while your quest is undone?
As you say that name, Harold's voice will break through.
No, I won't.
Then, by all that is holy, cast this demon out. As I'm going to assume that Harold starts violently shaking again.
Yes.
Indeed. As Harold begins to violently shake, the red starts to draw from his skin color as he starts to revert slowly back to his normal form. However, as the chains go taut as he tries to rise up from his kneeling position, his jaws extend, and a horrifying formless figure starts to writhe out of Harold's mouth. The demon that The demon that possessed the flesh of Harold is slowly but surely pushed out, and when it manifests, Hunt is ready with his bolt pistol and puts a bolt round and puts a side bolt straight through the creature's head, banishing it from reality. Harold, traumatized by the experience, falls to the ground, unconscious. Worry not, old friend. You won. I will see you when you wake up. Tarwak, I trust you will take him to his quarters once he wakes.
Yes, sir.
Some time later, Hunt enters the chamber of Harold Blackbeard. What is he up to?
Sitting on his bed, staring at his chain axe.
I see you are awake.
Yes, I am.
How do you feel?
Weak.
I see. I'm sure that with time you will regain your former strength.
Oh, I hope so.
Tell me, how did it happen?
I don't remember. We were attacked in the ship, and that's all I remember.
You remember no struggle as the demon tried to possess you?
No. Only images of more blood and warfare that I could ever imagine.
Indeed, the demons of the Blood God know nothing else, and if nothing, that makes them predictable and easy to counter. There are things I wish to discuss before I left once again.
What are these, my lord?
It has to do with your and he nods his head towards the pile of gun. It is your overt show of strength, shall we say.
Oh?
You see, when the Inquisition operates in Ascalon, it operates under the utmost secrecy. This is something that I was unable to mention before I dropped you off the first time. What I am saying is that, according to Ren's and P.O.Box's report, you have a way of showing your strength to the world, so to speak.
Yeah, I guess, but it is the Raxian way.
That is true. However, I will be sending over a specialist of sorts in the application of hidden strength. If you were to gain some insight from him, I would much appreciate if you could hide your strength. For you see, if you show your outward strength obviously, you will be considered much more of a threat, and a greater force will be brought to bear against you. This, unfortunately, works mostly against humans. So, if you could hide your strength among Imperial society, that would be much better. When it comes to the outward threats, be they Xenos or demonic, you can go right ahead and display all you wish.
How do you propose I do this?
And Harold just points his hand towards himself and just his sheer stature.
You see, for an example, let's say you are investigating in Disolium. If you were to walk around fully armed and armored, you would draw eyeballs and questions. However, if you were merely some hive muscle in a leather jacket, no one would think too much of you, and no specific attention or force would be brought to bear against you. That way, they would be grossly outmatched once your true strength was actually revealed.
So you mean...
To hide your... Oh, go ahead.
You mean asymmetrical warfare?
Indeed. Hide your strength, and only once it becomes pertinent, you reveal your strength. Make the enemy think you are weak when you are nothing but.
I could do that.
Indeed. However, once the feces has hit the proverbial fan, then you are, of course, at full liberty to bring your full might to bear.
Indeed.
It is a matter of discretion, Harold, and you are the least discreet of this warband.
Yeah, that's a given.
I thank you for your time, Harold. It is always an interesting thing.
Oh, my lord, before you leave...
Yes?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you know any word on my daughter?
What was her name again? Something? It was Hillevi and...
Hillevi is the daughter, Ingrid is the wife.
Ah, alright. I keep remembering Hillevi and I keep forgetting Ingrid. So, ask again, real quick.
Dude, do you know anything about my daughter?
Hillevi?
Yes.
I will put out a word. I will have Seda send an astropathic message. I do believe she is somewhere in the Rubicon sub.
Whatever would that girl be doing there?
Oh, I can't say.
Oh?
Inquisitorial, secrecy.
Crafty man. Taking up both of us.
Well, what can I say? I have an eye for talent.
Fair warning, though. I taught the girl well. She is more dangerous than I will ever be.
This is true. I could believe it. She is operating on her own as we speak, though when that would change is up to her. She doesn't play well with others.
Yeah. That's my girl.
Take care, Harold. We will speak again.
Take care, Hunt.
And... some time later, Hunt enters the stateroom of Harold, finding that the guns have been organized and stashed away to some better manner, and he finds Harold now out of bed and up and around. Ah, Harold, I see you are better.
Yes, I'm still feeling a bit weak.
That will come back with time, but I did want to take your debriefing before I left.
Debrief?
Yes.
In what way?
I would like to hear your estimation of the team's combat prowess, seeing how you have the highest experience when it comes to that.
Oh. Who should I begin with?
Start with Ren.
Ren. She needs more training.
Can you provide said training? Oh, crap.
Her form is flawed. Her stance wrong. She puts the weight in the wrong spot and, well, fails to hit her targets sometimes.
So, drill her on the fundamentals then.
I will. That's why I got these. And Harold will bring up the box with the sparring swords and the sparring shields.
Hunt picks up one of the swords and looks down the edge. This is fine craftsmanship. Where did you get these?
On Fower.
These are artifacts to keep.
I intend to leave them with Ren when I'm gone.
I will make sure she gets them, if nothing else. Now, what of Tarvok?
Tarvok. He needs to get off his staying at range and move into more close combat. The tech priests I fought with in the Raxian Guard were, well, they fought side by side with us in close quarters combat.
Now, in Tarvok's defense, he was merely a Lex mechanic. He was not an engine seer, but your point is a valid one, and if he is to protect himself, then hand to hand is indeed one of the better ones.
Indeed.
And he is not lacking in hands, shall we say.
Oh no, it is not. Though I saw one Genestealer who had 9 arms.
That is quite the feat. No pun intended.
Yes.
Polonia, tell me about her.
Polonia is a artisan with her weapon.
High praise.
Able to pick off targets with ease. She would have been a fine marksman.
But I sense a caveat incoming.
She seems to be afraid of me.
Well, isn't that the natural state of things?
I would not like my friends to be afraid of me.
That is something that you will have to work on, if nothing else. Then make sure to control your rage at a greater degree. I am sure that now your demonic intrusion has been overruled. I am guessing that you are once again back in control of your faculties.
I am.
Excellent.
And I will thank you again for that.
No, do not thank me. Thank the Emperor.
Yes. Yes, I will.
Excellent. Now, for completeness' sake, I will ask you how Kirshan performed.
A mewling pipsqueak.
Shall I put those exact words in the report?
Well, it tended to like to run away a lot, or hide, like a coward, in the shadows.
I hide in the shadows. Does that make me a coward?
No.
Then so be it.
That man was really, really afraid of close quarters combat.
Well, there is nothing that I can ask you to do. His assignment is over, and he will be returned to his own Inquisitor.
Yeah, that's for the best.
Indeed. Thank you, Harold.
I assume you got to heard about the incident regarding Kirshan.
You mean your... which one, should I ask?
Oh, I had some trouble snapping out of my rage, and I almost took his leg off.
Now was that before or after you were possessed?
I can't remember.
We'll chalk it up to the demon and call it a day.
Yeah. But to be honest, I wish I would have aimed a bit higher.
You probably saved me a lot of trouble with the rest of the Inquisitors here in Ascalon, few as they may be. So try not to annihilate too many other fellow acolytes, be they from your own warband or no.
Oh, I will control myself better now.
Excellent. That will be all, Harold, unless you had something to ask.
No, not really.
Then I'll leave you to it. Have a nice evening cycle, Harold.
I thank you, my lord.
As you were. And Hunt exits the stateroom. It has been a month since the Thaurian Incident. The Warband has returned to Hive Disolium, and Tarbok resumes his role as the fabricator of the Shattered Foundry, now named to the Reforged Foundry. Aurora, his personal scribe, enters Tarbok's officio with news of an unusual visitor. Fabricator Tarbok, I have a guest who wishes an audience with you.
Tarbok looks up with his hands, multiple hands, at work, with a small scowl on his face. I wasn't expecting visitors. Did they make an appointment?
No, he did not. It is a sanctuary by the name of Genner Clane.
Send them in.
As you wish. Aurora turns around, data slate in hand, and walks out. A few moments later, in walks a man wearing the usual attire of the sanctuaries of Hive Disolium. However, his armor seems to have some oil flecks that have dried up on it. You remember this man as being from the crime scene between the trade sable smugglers and the Callers of Sorrow. In fact, this man was the first on scene and reported the incident.
And how can I help you today, Sanctuary?
Right now I'm off duty, so if you could keep this between the two of us, that would be lovely.
Aurora, leave the room and lock the door.
As you wish, Fabricator. Aurora leaves and locks the door behind her with a solid thunk.
You may speak.
Tell me, Fabricator, do you recognize this? As he pulls pulls out a damaged oath cog from his armor plate and puts it in front of you. You are unable to recognize the owner of it without taking a direct look through the scanner.
From my desk, I pull out the Oathcog scanner and begin to analyze it.
As you analyze through it, you can see that this is the Oathcog of one Eris Vlador.
Oh, yes. Eris Vlador. Pretty woman. Shame what happened to her.
Yeah, real shame about that. Except there's a small inconsistency.
What do you mean?
You see, when she was found, most people were fully aware of her various vices, as she was a common betting topic among the less scrupulous sanctuaries at the Purity Gate. Hell, I do believe I lost some guild script to another one of us who bet on the right time. But that is neither here nor there. The investigation was wrapped up fairly quickly. However, there was one thing that bothered me. No one bothered to examine her Oathcog at any personal length, and that's when I saw the scratch.
And what is the relevance of this scratch?
You see, the scratch itself was minute. In fact, had I not been looking, I probably would never have noticed it, except it's the cog which it is represented to, and that is Vlador's last will and testament. You see...
Myself.
Yes. Actually, I do believe one Rosalina Lockwood was the beneficiary.
It was, but it was at my behest. She was a paramour of mine for a short time.
I see. But that's the thing, though. Looking into the matter, I found out that Eris Vlador had that her Oathcog, at least the copy she had given over to the Sanctuaries, did not match this one.
What are you implying, then?
I'm implying that her Oathcog has been tampered with.
Now the pieces are starting to fall together, then.
Indeed. Now, you might be wondering why I would risk so much to come before you without any backup or any seeming interest in arresting you. Because
I have a guess.
Yes, you're a smart man, or machine. Take a wild guess.
My first guess would be that you are going to attempt to keep this quiet with an expectation of reward.
Not a reward. Think of it more like hush money.
And has this information or detail been shared with the rest of the Sanctuaries, or just you?
It has only been me so far. However, before you get any ideas about killing me right here where I sit, do note that I did register the last case on my Oathcog, meaning the Sanctuaries now know that I was investigating the Vlador case, and if they were to follow the same trail, they would no doubt find more than just Oathcog tampering. You see, I don't actually care, or neither does any of the other Sanctuaries care about the fact that Vlador is dead. That doesn't actually matter. What is important, however, and would be of great interest to the Sanctuaries, is the fact that an Oathcog has been tampered with. Something of a capital crime here in Disolium.
My hands never touched her in a way of that manner.
Well, it's a good thing I'm not accusing you of killing her then. All I'm accusing you of is tampering with the Oathcog.
And what if I told you that I have the name of someone who would fit the time and place much more direct than I would?
And who would that be?
When you came in, right near the doorway, did you see a young man, kind of stocky looking, black hair, kind of nervously looking around like he doesn't belong?
Yeah, I saw him.
That was her personal assistant, I would say man, but door boy. If he wanted her gone, who's to say that he didn't do it, or that he didn't tamper with the Oathcog?
I see two problems with this. The first, he did not seem to benefit from the death of Vlador to as great an extent as you and your lady did. Secondly, he would not have either the technical aptitude or the right equipment to tamper with an Oathcog.
There are many unscrupulous men inside of... Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, for all you know, he was under payment of, what was his name? Geese, I believe, who would have had access to this kind of technology from less, law-abiding sources.
Small problem with that, though. Geese is no longer alive, and in fact, I looked further into charnel houses, and you happen to be the beneficiary of 3 different ones? So you see, the pieces started fitting together once I looked into them, and all signs point to you.
Indeed, indeed.
So,
That's
to cut this any shorter than it has to be, for this is getting painfully awkward, I will simply accept my payment and let that be that.
And what would this payment be?
Out of character, 2 influence.
And do you believe that the Highborns would be very appreciative that you are digging into the business?
The Highborn?
You see, I am just a envoy of people higher than yourself, higher than myself, higher than your chain of command.
I fail to see the relevance.
Meaning, sir, if you are messing with powers that even I can't even fully comprehend, the people I work for could snap their fingers and have the entire Sanctuary Guard replaced with new recruits in but a week, with no trace of its previous occupants.
You know what? I think I can take that risk, seeing how your Lady Lockwood happens to reside in the Pinions, the lowest part of the Apex.
Oh, Lady Lockwood. Such an interesting girl, isn't she? So naive of how the world works, so wrapped up in her own business that she fails to see the bigger picture. It's as if a regicide piece could not see its own player.
So, Fabricator, what will it be?
Ah, yes, indeed. You know what? And he removes his oath cog, places it on the table, and sits there thinking for a moment, tapping 20 fingers onto his table. Very well. I concede to your demands. And he says in a kind of a playfully passé way, and don't worry, nothing bad will come of you in the future.
Oh, I'm thinking early retirement will do just fine.
Indeed.
Now,
And I place the payment on the table.
Indeed. Thank you for doing business, Fabricator, and I shall remove myself and any evidence of any wrongdoing out of your hair. If you have any left. He leans his head down to try and get a look under your hood and fails.
Oh, trust me. You will find no empathy from this body.
Ah. With that, I bid you good day, and Sanctuary Genestealer walks out of the office.
Tarvok takes out his data slate and removes a name from a unseen list and writes a new name at the top of it